Hi, I'm Sue Jefferson, if you don't know me, the children and family worker. I've also started doing a lay reader course recently, so I'm getting in a bit of practice. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be looking together at a book which both Graham and I read during the summer holidays. It's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. Don't be put off by the title as I was when I was first recommended it. Today I'm going to give a brief overview of the whole book, and in the following 4 weeks we're going to look in more detail at the 4 spiritual practices recommended in the book: simplicity, silence and solitude, Sabbath, and slowing. In the opening chapters, the author looks at the problem of hurry. He suggests that as the world has got faster and faster with more and more distractions, we've suffered more with physical symptoms, and also our spiritual lives have suffered. John Mark Comer asks, how do we slow down and live deliberately in the middle of the chaos of the fast-paced digital world that we call home? And his suggestion to the solution is for us to be more like Jesus, spend time with him and do what he would do if he were us. Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all who are tired from carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke and put it on you, and learn from me." That was Jesus speaking. He invites us to learn from him, to adopt his habits and practices. He lived freely and lightly, free from the discontent and distraction that comes from having too much money and stuff we don't need, instead having space for God and love for people as his top priorities. So how would Jesus live if he were me? Here we come to the 4 spiritual practices that we're going to look at over the next 4 weeks. The first of these is silence and solitude. This is when we're alone with God and our soul. In Mark 1 verse 35 we read, "Very early the next morning, long before daylight, Jesus got up and left the house. He went out of the town to a lonely place where he prayed." If Jesus needed solitude and silence, then I think there's a good chance that we do as well. Graham has spent time over his sabbatical looking at this area, and he'll share with us next week some of the things that he's learnt. Secondly, simplicity. We live in a consumer society built around people spending money they don't have on things that they don't need. I found this interesting in the book. It said in Western countries it's not atheism which is replacing Christianity, but shopping. It suggested that shopping is the #1 leisure activity, Amazon the new temple, Visa statement the new altar, double-clicking the new liturgy, lifestyle bloggers the new clergy, and money the new god. Worth thinking about at least. Simplicity is about living with less, sharing, stopping and thinking before we buy, giving away, buying ethically, those kind of things. So I decided in August, when it was my birthday, that instead of getting birthday presents, that I would ask my friends to give me money for Tear Fund's emergency fund. I did think this might be quite difficult for me because I usually like getting lots of presents and opening them, but it wasn't hard at all, and hopefully the £350 odd that was raised will help bring hope to many people instead of me having a few extra bits. I also read a Tear Fund article recently by Megan Prosser. She was talking about things going back to normal after lockdown as far as shopping. She said we still have a chance to pause and take stock. We can make the decision not to return to our old purchasing habits, but instead adopt new lifestyle habits that benefit people and the planet. For example, buying from an ethical brand, buying second hand, or having something from a friend or charity shop, or smaller local independent alternatives. More from this in 3 weeks from Mark Betson. The third spiritual practice is Sabbath. The word Sabbath literally means to stop. God actually commands us to take a Sabbath in Deuteronomy 5 in our reading today. It's one of the 10 commandments. We need to take a day of our week to slow down and breathe. But it's more than that. It's a day to worship and spend time with God and others. John Mark Comer challenges us. Could we not do any work for 24 hours? Could we go a day a week without buying or selling anything? Could we go a day a week without using our iPad, iPhone, or watching the TV? Instead, could we spend longer reading the Bible and praying? Sharing a meal with friends, going for a walk, enjoying God without the trappings of materials. I found this chapter in particular really challenging, and in a few weeks Pete and I will share with you some of the things that we have tried, what has worked and what we found difficult. And finally, the fourth practice, the practice of slowing. This practice is about cultivating patience by deliberately choosing to place ourselves in positions where we simply have to wait. Here are a few examples. Driving the speed limit, not looking at your iPad until after your quiet time, checking emails only at the start and the end of the workday, not all day long, limiting TV. There's lots of practical advice in this book, and I thoroughly recommend reading it. And I hope you'll be challenged and encouraged as we look at it together over the next month, both in church, individually, maybe in your house group, or with Graham in the Zoom meetings that he's going to do on Monday evenings. Thank you.